Welcome to Coffee with Viking. I am the Viking. Cheers. And today's devotion is stirred up. Be strong, for I am with you. Haggai 2:4. Haggai was stirred up by the Lord to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem following the Babylonian captivity. In turn, he stirred up God's people. You expected much, but see, it turned out to be little. Why? Because of my house, which remains a ruin, while each of you is busy with your own house. Haggai 1:9. What stirs me about this is how Haggai mobilized God's people to take care of God's business and build up his house by giving them hope. Be strong, for I am with you. We may be successful in putting our personal affairs in place, but if we do it at the sacrifice of the more important, putting our spiritual affairs in order, we miss the joy and purpose of life. Are you concerned only about taking care of business in this world? Or are you setting Christ at the center of your life? Ask the Lord to stir you up by considering all he has done for you, and depend on the strength of his Spirit to build a spiritual life. And that's what happens with a lot of us. We get so overwhelmed by the things of this world, by the stresses, by whatever life can throw at us, that we take our eyes off of the Lord. Kind of like Peter did when he walked on the crashing waves in the sea. He was walking on water, took around 2.5, 3 steps, heard the crashing waves, and sank. But the last thing he said before he sank was, "My Lord, save me." And Jesus reached down and pulled him out of the water and got him back in the boat. See, that's the problem with a lot of us, and I'm guilty of this too. We get so overwhelmed by the crashing waves of our own life, by the crumbling of our own homes, that we take our eyes off of God. And when we do, that's usually when everything falls apart and we sink into the depths of the sea. But it is always good to follow Peter on this one, and as we realize we're sinking, put our focus back on God and ask for him to forgive us, to save us, to help us, because he is always there, willing to help us. He doesn't want to see us sink in our own stresses. He wants to pull us out. He wants to give us peace that only he can grant. And there is nothing like the peace that God offers. Peace in this world don't even compare, because the peace the Lord gives is a peace of mind, heart, spirit, and body. And it's not a temporal peace like we get in this world. I'm not saying that with the peace of God. We don't look at the waves in life and sink, but it's easier to get out of them. It's easier to cry out to God than because we have already humbled ourselves and don't let our pride hold us down. So if you ever catch yourself falling apart due to whatever's stressing you out, my biggest recommendation is to cry out to God. Pray, put your focus on Him, and trust that He will see you through. Because I can guarantee and promise you this, He will see you through. God is always with us. He is always with His children. And He knows that while we are in this flesh, we will take our eyes off of Him, even if it is just for a second. I'm not going to deny that I haven't done this. I do it a lot more than I should. But when we put our focus back on God, He is faithful to pull us through. Because He is faithful and loving and will never leave nor forsake either of us. Please put your trust in the Lord today if you haven't already. I love you all. Stay blessed. Stay caffeinated. And have a wonderful day. Much love.